Hi Collective, it's Shana. Y'all, let's get a quick reading. It's 528 hertz. Archangel Michael, I ask that you preside over this reading. I ask that you protect me and my collective as we channel, transmute, and harmonize the energy for the highest good. Ashe. All right, collective. I would like to do a quick reading, okay? And this reading here is in dedication and honor of Bobby Hemmitt. I don't know if he would get this video, but hopefully he would at some time. But if not, I want to see what comes out, okay? And this video is dedicated to a past life, Bobby Hemmitt's past life, okay? I have 4 questions I want to ask for each deck. And we may mix it a little bit, but we'll see. The first question is, what was the major life lesson, or what was the major lesson in Bobby Hemmitt's past life? This is for this deck, okay? Let me show you the decks we're using. Past life oracle cards. Ooh, I hope you saw that. Past of the shadow oracle cards, as well as Thelma Lenormand, okay? And we may use the book for this because I'm not real familiar with this deck. All right, first question is, what was the major life lesson in Bobby Hemmitt's past life? We're going to take top and bottom for each deck. Major life lesson in Bobby Hemmitt's past life. The most immediate, the most recent past life, Archangel Michael. Show me. Top and bottom, one on the top, one on the bottom. That's a lot. One on the top, one on the bottom. Please, Archangel Michael, so it won't get too difficult for me. Thank you. Bottom of the deck, we have a karmic partnership, okay? So it has something to do with a relationship. Looks like a romance. Possibly a spouse or something, okay? Karmic partnership. All right, next question is, what was the obstacle? We're going to use this, the path of shadows for that, top and bottom. What was the obstacle in this relationship, possibly? Thank you. We're going to keep it like that. We're not going to take the bottom. Isolation, y'all. Something within this karmic partnership. I'm getting, there was no equal give and take, okay? It says, isolation. In the solitude's embrace, I found my own echo. I whisper to the shadows. My voice finds no fellow, okay? So I'm getting like somebody was in an abusive relationship, right? Bobby Hemmitt was, right? And there wasn't, like love, equal give and take. And someone was feeling isolated within this relationship. It may have been Bobby Hemmitt, okay? Because I'm asking about his life, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Could have been the other spouse. Show me, this question is, what is the spiritual advice for Bobby Hemmitt, or pertaining to Bobby Hemmitt for this life, based on the last life? What is the spiritual advice for this life, Archangel Michael? Top and the bottom. Thank you. When I was shuffling in this deck, I kept seeing a fox card, okay? Maybe something about being cunning, clever, or looking out for these type of people. Okay? Something about a book, how befitting, with knowledge and wisdom, I feel, okay? And Bobby Hemmitt has read so many books, I have no clue how many, okay? I know he's always giving references to books, good books to read, okay? So that makes sense that knowledge, higher learning would be important, okay? So that's about this life I'm getting, okay? Past life karmic partnership. part of the obstacle dealt with isolation, okay? And in this life, there's something to do, spiritual advice, something to do with knowledge, okay? I see a candle there that could speak to magic, right? Or divination, right? And we have this magnifying glass, possibly to research, right, in this life, as well as shed light on some of the knowledge of the past, okay? And that's absolutely what Bobby Hemmitt's done, right? And maybe I should put this deck here so we can keep them lined up, y'all. Alrighty. Alright, now show me what was the outcome in the past life, okay? Thank you. Alright, and we're going to keep this one as the mystery card. One and only. Bottom of the deck, we have the number 11, y'all. Okay, that's important. What is the 11? Is that a master teacher? Okay, so the outcome in the past life. I'm getting like it had something to do with teaching. So that's why he's still a master teacher in this life, okay? All right, let's see. What was the major lesson in Bobby Hemmitt's past life? Karmic partnership, something surrounding a karmic partnership collective, okay? Past life, major lesson for Bobby Hemmitt. Let's see. Orphan, y'all. Definitely a lot of isolation and abandonment. Wow, I'm getting, okay? That's hard. Maybe Bobby Hemmitt was an orphan, or maybe his spouse was, okay? It's definitely something about a partnership. I'm assuming this is someone in his life today as well with this partnership, or someone that has been in his life, in this life, okay? Past life connection. Coming into this life for some reason. That's what I'm getting, okay? Maybe all the karma in this partnership from the past life, the most recent one, wasn't cleared, okay? Wars and battles, y'all. His major life lesson was in, I'm getting love relationships, y'all. Karmic partnerships. And, you know, I don't know a lot about Bobby Hemmitt's personal life, but I know he would be open about, you know, like the women he would date, okay? And I do believe that this was maybe a difficult part in his life, okay? I don't know a lot about his relationships. I know that Bobby Hemmitt has the utmost respect for women, okay? So maybe this was a karmic partnership in terms of this woman, okay, from the past life, who was an orphan possibly, okay? There's a female on this card, right? And maybe her trials in her life as an orphan before they came together is what, you know, made this relationship karmic, okay? Because of her unhealed wounds, okay? That's what I'm getting. And it caused all this difficulty in their life, okay? Maybe it was surrounding something to do with knowledge, secret knowledge, occult knowledge, okay? Could have been. Let's get a couple clarifiers, okay? Let's see something. We will switch it up a little bit. Show me, give me a name on this orphan. Or give me something to indicate Higgins, y'all. Okay. Okay, this could be significant. I asked for a name, and that's what came out here in the reverse. The reverse could indicate the past life, okay? And this could have been this person. This could have been like a maiden name for this woman, okay? And I have to do research on this, y'all, because when certain things come out in these videos and I go back and research it, I find things that line up with what is coming out here, okay? Things that I wrote the cards, but I didn't write them for that, okay? So it's just a lot, y'all. It's a lot that we can do with divination, okay? In modern times, and tweak it to modern times, I believe, okay? Orphan person name, let's see, bottom of the deck. Something about this person's life, y'all. Their life, their ability to maneuver their own life was stunted. Okay, because their parents may have passed on, right? Or maybe they were abandoned, okay? And I feel like Bobby Hemmitt loved this woman, okay? They came into one another's lives, okay? And they just had a lot of trouble in this relationship, I feel. Another name, Troy, okay? Could have been Troy Higgins. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this represents Bobby Hemmitt. Maybe he was the feminine in the last life, okay? Or maybe not. Okay, let's see. Show me something for orphan. One card. I feel like these were wars and battles of romance, okay? Oh, and I took the karmic partnership away. Orphan. Trees. Something about trees. That has to do with life too, I think. The tree of life with the y'all. Okay, something about life. Something about this person's life. Maybe the fact that they had a hard life, it looks like, okay? And something about this color as well. It's in both of these cards, all of these cards. I know this whole deck sort of has that color thing, but so does this card. There's something about the tree of life. Maybe the lessons, the lessons that were learned regarding life, possibly in partnerships, love partnerships, okay? And the struggles within love partnerships. This was his major life lessons. And regarding finances, okay? Maybe this is what the war and the battle was about as well, okay? But the life force has to do with relationships and finances. Show me these wars and battles. What it's about. Give me something else about these wars and battles. Or maybe Bobby Hemmitt served in the war as well, okay? Father, y'all, it's within the relationship. Maybe he had to fight for love within this relationship because his spouse was had so many childhood wounds, y'all, is what I'm getting. Okay? Because I feel like Bobby Hemmitt, the respect he has for women that he's come into this world with, I believe, just shows that that wasn't his problem in the most recent past life. Okay? Because as long as I've listened to Bobby Hemmitt, he's always had a respect for women. Okay? Even if he's not perfect, right? And he's not, right? But his understanding of the importance of the matriarchy and the mother, the divine mother, is just like out of this world, okay? You can't ask for better in that case, okay? All right, battles and wars, something within the family. Father, maybe he had to fight as a father within his family for finances and to maintain the livelihood of his home, okay? Bottom of the deck, wars and battles. Angels, y'all. I feel like the angels have always been with him. Regardless of what he's gone through, right? And this was the 11 here for that master teacher, right? Maybe he was some sort of ascended angel figure in the last life. And maybe now this is why he helps people so much. Confirmation, I feel, okay? Because he's an earth angel in this life, okay? Maybe he was an earth angel in the last life, okay? And it was just a difficult life. All right, we're going to get something on this and we're going to keep going. Leaving or travel, y'all. Wow. With the angels. Maybe this is how he left here as well from the war. Okay? You got angels and leaving or travel with wars and battles, okay? And Father, he may have passed from the war. Let's see something real quick. Show me, let's get one on each of these real quick. Okay? Show me Father. Thank you. Show me wars and battles. Thank you. Slip of the tongue. Okay, I don't know what that's about. Angels. Maybe we should get that angel. Okay, Leviathan. He's like a demon slayer or something, y'all. Hornet's nest, okay? I'm getting a tough life, y'all. A tough life in the past, okay? Father. Marty, maybe that was his name in the past life. Maybe her name was Higgins. And I saw a Troy. Something's here, okay? Organized crime, y'all. Was that for father? Okay. I don't know. Maybe this was his father, okay, y'all? I don't know. Maybe this is speaking of his life as a child of parents who were karmic to one another, right? And maybe eventually he became an orphan based on that, okay? And it affected his life and his finances, right, dramatically. Or maybe as well with these finances could involve something to do with those parents, okay? But let's see. Father, Marty, organized crime, some sort of organized crime going on. Wars and battles. Slip of the tongue. Somebody spoke something. Maybe they said something that they shouldn't have said that caused a fight, a war or battle. Okay, let's see. They said something about the government, okay? So maybe he worked within the government in that past life. All government agencies complicit with gang stalking are being dismantled expeditiously, okay? Maybe he spoke something, a secret about his government, regarding gang stalking back then, okay, with this organized crime. Okay, somebody was a criminal. Okay, I don't know if it was Bobby Hemmitt's father, okay, or if Bobby Hemmitt in the past life was involved in some way, okay, and maybe he decided to speak against it. Maybe he was just employed within the government and he didn't realize this was going on. And once he realized, he spoke against it. Maybe. Angels. We're going to have to do another one on this. Okay, edict, decree, ruling, command, new law, official, a figure, authority, or authority figure, okay? I'm getting he definitely had something, a role within the government or someone within his family, okay? And maybe he was an earth angel in the past life or some sort of elevated teacher, right? Or something surrounding his life. There was a law brought down from the heavens, okay? I don't know. Bottom of the deck, Leviathan, okay? Something regarding possibly the Antichrist or the beast, okay? Law, quantum entanglement, okay? This could speak to, I'm getting time travel with this, okay? Yeah, y'all, I'm getting time travel. Look, you got galactic at the bottom of the deck. Okay, maybe it was set up for him to travel back into this lifetime as well, right? To close out something from a past life. Okay, or maybe he's a starseed, a star traveler, okay? I'm sure he's a starseed, right? Okay, but there's something about travel in this past life, okay? But relationships were the major problem. Some sort of karmic partnerships, whether they were his own, that he experienced within his own personal relationships, or maybe it was his parents that he watched and he experienced in that way, right? But there was some sort of government involvement with this father, okay? There's some crime, organized crime going on here, okay? Gang stalking back in the day, okay? Maybe the gang stalking resulted in some sort of war, okay, or battle. Regarding somebody speaking something about it, okay? But we have the angels here. I feel like they came and set things in balance, okay? Let me see. What is this? Quantum entanglement, right? So it's like it's going on in two different places, maybe two different lives, past life and in this life. Some of the karma may have had to be cleared within relationships, partnerships. All right, we're about to get out for this part. Show me this slip of the tongue. What is this regarding these wars and battles and this government? What is this slip of the tongue? You probably somebody told about this government spying, gang stalk. Maybe once he told, they orphaned him. Show me. You're next in line for a miracle. Shirley sees him. Okay, so whatever this slip of the tongue was, it opened up like a way for someone, a miracle of some sort, possibly for Bobby Hemmitt. Maybe him saying it got him out of the war. Maybe it put him in prison, though. I don't know. Bottom of the deck, slip of the tongue. Something about where something's located, y'all. Or where somebody was. Maybe he told who did this. I don't know, y'all. Some GPS tracker. Show me GPS tracker. Oh snap, somebody was located doing something. Okay, stalking. Okay, that's under the government stalking card, y'all. Stalking. So it's been going on since then. Okay, back then, jealous and envy. Okay, so maybe Bobby Hemmitt was being stalked in a past life as well. Okay, Higgins. Okay, something about Higgins. Show me this. Show me this organized crime. What type of crime is this? Gang stalking probably, and something surrounding money. Then show me organized crime. Stop trying to delay justice because it's causing earth calamities, okay? So something about this justice. I'm getting surrounding gang stalking. That's the only thing that's out here. Okay? They were trying to block him from his divine purpose back then, okay? All divine beings are being called to action, okay? That's that crime, organized crime. Maybe they wanted to stop divine beings from going within to their shadow selves, okay? Healing their inner child, okay? Sending them off to orphanages, okay? To be abused possibly, right? To keep him from elevating to his position of master teacher. Show me this quantum entanglement. I feel like this has something to do with this life. Or maybe a past life, okay? Your ancestors are haunting them in their dreams, y'all. So somebody who messed with you in a past life or messed with Bobby Hemmitt in a past life, right? To the point where there had to be some edict that was brought down from the heavens, okay? Yeah, but your ancestors still haunting them, okay? They ain't forgot what the hell these people did, okay? Because they ain't learned from it, okay? So I'm feeling like this was a government, okay? Everybody getting vetted. And there were crooked officials, okay? But I still feel like the main issue was these karmic partnerships, okay? I removed the card, though. Okay, and how it affected his life and possibly his finances. Or maybe all this was brought about in his life due to people being greedy about finances. But I feel like he either had a position within the government or someone did. Show me these trees and we're going to move on. What's those trees? Could have something to do with, you know, how we were strung up on trees. Forgive. Yeah, I just said it. Could be something about that, people. Being strung up on a tree or something that affected his life greatly, okay? Could be being an orphan possibly, or his spouse being an orphan. Or maybe they both were. Rashid, another name, y'all. Says forgive Rashid, okay? So I don't know, okay? But these are names possibly similar to the names that were in his past life. Or maybe they're the exact names, y'all. Maybe it's just the first letters of these names, okay? All right. Yeah, I think there was a lot of sadness in this past life, okay? Surrounding the heart. Any final messages you have for me and the collective regarding the major past life lesson for Bobby Hemmitt? Aromatic perpetuate, the sweet smell of victory, okay? Maybe he's achieving some sort of victory now based on a past life or over a situation that occurred in a past life, okay? Or maybe he achieved some sort of victory before he left this plane, the past life. Bottom of the deck. What was this one for, y'all? I done forgot what the hell it was for. Imposter, y'all. All right, so there was some imposter. I feel like it was within this karmic partnership. Okay? Show me this imposter. Maybe Rashid was the person that was an imposter. That's why they say forgive. Okay? Could have been a third party. Just said investigate, okay? And it fell out there on the money. All right, so maybe Bobby Hemmitt. Y'all, I know this is going on everywhere, okay? But maybe he was an inventor of something that created him some money, okay? He investigated and he was able to invent something, okay? Or maybe someone else was investigating his invention. Maybe his invention was before his time, okay? He was a hermit, y'all, for sure, okay? Maybe this is him. Hermitage, that home of a hermit with an investigator, which gives me the hermit, okay? And when you're inventing, sure, you got to go into isolation, okay? And you have isolation out here, okay? So this was a part of his life, as well as his being an orphan, okay? So maybe he was the orphan, y'all, okay? Either way, he was affected severely or majorly by that type of situation. Either it happened to him or it happened to his spouse or both of them, okay? All right, one quick thing. What is this invention about? What is this invention regarding? Could be something in medicine, something with the life, with that unk and that tree. And maybe that speaks to them taking his life. That's why it says forgive. Diaz, okay, I don't know. Something with a Diaz, people. Okay? All right, let's leave it there. Something, he got snaked in a past life, y'all. And these were the names, I believe. Rashid, we had Diaz, and Higgins, and somebody else, okay? I feel like he got snaked in the past life, possibly by government officials. Okay, that would make sense. That's why he speaks the truth so strongly. All right? What was the obstacle? Something to do with isolation, okay? And that could speak to the orphanage. In the solitudes, and this person, and he was a hermit, okay? And an inventor, possibly, okay? But it says, in the solitude's embrace, I've found my own echo. I whisper to the shadows, my voice finds no fellows, okay? So there was no support. Not proper support, right? Past life obstacle. A banshee. All I could hear was a warning scream. Ignoring the signs won't make me free, okay? So I feel like there was some sort of entrapment within this orphanage situation, okay? And, it messed with his mind. And rightfully so. Let me look up Banshee real quick, y'all. What does it say? They're giving me the movie, okay? Let me see something. Banshee, let's say meaning. A female spirit in Gaelic folklore being believed to presage by wailing a death in a family. Wow, okay. So this is something about a death. Okay, so that video I did yesterday, okay. A supernatural being supposed to warn a family of the approaching death of one of its members by wailing or singing in a mournful voice as under the windows of a house. Wow. So this is like a death cry, okay? From a supernatural being, okay? So maybe he was pre-warned about his passing or someone else's passing. And this being the obstacle, maybe he passed too soon, okay, before he could finish his mission in that lifetime. Y'all, it's definitely an imposter out here, okay? Imposter syndrome. There's some imposter that was involved here. I don't know if they saw him as an imposter, but you know what I feel too with this inventor? Maybe someone stole his invention, okay? And these were the people that snaked him for money, okay? In the government, possibly. Maybe they were gang stalking him due to whatever this invention is, okay? Imposter syndrome. In a room full of equals, I stand in doubt. A stranger in my own triumph, shadows cast about, and maybe he was a really strong and powerful, intelligent man, right? But whatever issues regarding this orphanage, okay, and this isolation and feelings of abandonment, maybe made him feel like he wasn't enough. Okay? But something with this banshee here. Archangel Michael, show me the banshee. Who possibly passed? Maybe it was a passing of this feeling of feeling less than, being an imposter. Show me this banshee. Who passed? Y'all, something about, I think this was him, the baby shaman. That's gotta be, I was gonna say Tupac. Gotta be Bobby Hemmitt. Y'all, he was a baby. Maybe, oh, his baby. Oh, wow, y'all. Maybe this was a child that passed of his. And that, oh my, and that created a lot of, wow, y'all, a lot of difficulty and pain in his life. I don't think Bobby Hemmitt has any children in this life, y'all. And maybe that's a part of the reason why, you know, I don't know. Maybe he may feel like, okay, I just didn't have children. I just don't want them. I'm free. I got to get around and teach and do many things, right? But maybe this is a part of it because of some situation in a past life. Maybe where his child was taken from him or his child's life was lost, y'all. That's what I'm getting. Okay? Who is this imposter? You think this was a kidnapping or something? Confirmation, y'all. Show me imposter syndrome. Maybe they kidnapped him. Somebody. Okay? Well, I'm not going to be able to get to the bottom of this, but there is a father here. And that was important. Okay? So maybe something happened. His child lost their lives. Okay? Imposter syndrome. Show me this imposter syndrome. Why is this relevant as the obstacle with this newborn? Y'all, somebody did some juju on his child, y'all. That's what I'm getting. And that's a part of the reason why he chose in this life not to have children. There's a name, y'all, Roland. Okay? This might have been this person sitting there doing magic on his child. Maybe this was the person in the karmic relationship with him. Okay, in the past life. Like I said, maybe he was a woman in the past life, maybe not. Why is this the obstacle, Archangel Michael? Why is this situation here the obstacle? Adophis, giant serpent, symbolizing forces of chaos and evil, y'all. There was these evil witches and warlocks after him. This is why he is so deep into the occult today. Okay, he's finishing up a mission, I feel, that was cut short when they took his child. Bottom of the deck, why is this the obstacle? There's a lot of names, Gregory, okay? A lot of names from a past life. These could be the witches and warlocks and his enemies' names out here, okay, from a past life. I don't know. Maybe Bobby Hemmitt, maybe these names will sound familiar to him. Maybe he'll know. Maybe these are names in his family tree. Maybe some of these were family members. Okay? What happened to this baby? Could have been witches. Magic, y'all. What happened to this baby, Archangel Michael? Yeah, whatever happened, the divine was displeased. I feel like this baby lost their lives. Bottom of the deck, what happened to this baby? Something, yeah, they attacked this baby, y'all. And maybe he felt isolated after that, right? Okay. Okay. What did Bobby Hemmitt learn from this obstacle in his life, in past life? Cynosure is a noun that means the northern constellation, Ursa Minor, the North Star, or a center of attention or attraction. Cynosure, okay, is a noun that means the northern constellation. And shit's going down in the reverse, okay? So maybe he felt like he didn't get justice, okay? But this is an interesting card, okay? I wrote this for different reasons, okay? But maybe it has something to do with something about not wanting to be the center of attention, okay? But now he's the center of attention in this life, right? Could be something about going into your north node. You learn something like don't do that, okay? Because they'll come and hurt your children, right? This could also have something to do with the blood, okay? And I'm not going to say why I'm saying that, okay? Y'all, but look at that. That's what happened to his child, okay? Or a child. I feel like it was his child. That's why that father card is here, okay? Somebody hurt his child, took his child's life, whether he was a man or a woman in that life, okay? Using magic. That's why he's so heavily involved in the cult in this life, okay? And the issues dealing with the faculties of the mind. Maybe they did that to mess with his mind, to keep him from pursuing his mission, okay? All right, let's see. What's the spiritual advice for this life, okay? What's the spiritual advice for this life? We have the fox here. And we have this book, which I'm getting this knowledge, okay? But let me see something real quick. These should be really short in this book, y'all. 26, book. A hardback book rests against a podium light in candlelight. Books used to be bound in leather, okay? Leather could be important. Maybe he worked as a leather person or something, right? The book's pages or spine can have an impact on the meanings of the cards around it. If the card is facing the spine, then this is an indication of closing. If the pages face the card, this could be an opening. Keywords, knowledge, secrets, okay? Secrets, knowledge of secrets or secret knowledge, okay? Learning new topics, memory, revealing the unknown, study, occult, information, okay, people? Private, closed insights, education, teaching, teachers, okay? So it's definitely heavily involved with occult knowledges. For this information, spiritual advice for this life as it pertains to the past life. So he's definitely in alignment, okay, with his mission, with the occult knowledge, okay? Let's see, the fox. I'm getting like this is like being clever in this lifetime, okay? Because of what he learned about, speaking truth or, living in your purpose from the last life is that they go and take what you love, okay? That's what I'm getting. 14, fox. A fox brings its prey in a secluded part of the forest. One of many cards that could represent someone's vocation. Okay? Some diviners, okay? Diviners, this is him, y'all. Okay? Attribute this card to self-employment. And he is self-employed in this life as a diviner, so to speak, okay? Teaching occult knowledge. Okay? Some diviners attribute this card to self-employment. Keyword, trickster, lies, trap, clever, manipulation, sneaking around someone's back, stealthy, outsmart, wrong, guilt, caution, energy, negative, no. Playing cards, 9 of clubs. Traditional meanings include sticking to your opinions, closed-mindedness, lofty visions, idealism. Okay, I think this just speaks to maybe him being committed. Some people might say strong-headed, strong-willed in terms of his path in the occult knowledge, okay? And he's clever with it, okay? I feel like he's one who has really taught many black people and opened us up to this past knowledge, this lost knowledge of the occult, okay? So he's definitely in alignment, okay, with his purpose for this life based on the spiritual advice for this life, okay? And he was very clever about the way he does this, okay? I don't think they suspected that he would be such a viable opponent, so to speak, to this system, okay? And the way things are done. So it's like he just broke on the scene. Okay, is this master teacher? Okay, that's him. I don't know if this is his life path number or what. Okay, and I never thought life path numbers went up past 9. Okay, so maybe he's a life path 2, but maybe they can go up to 11. Okay, and things are changing. Okay, all right. Show me this occult knowledge, y'all. Crossroads 22. This is a master number. This is absolutely a master. Okay. And with this 4 and 14, that adds up to a 5. So he's here to bring about change, right? And that's what he's done. And with this 26, I'm getting an 8. And I'm getting an abundance. This man has been given an abundance of occult knowledge that he's brought with him from past life experiences, right? And maybe that is why he doesn't have children. Because I feel like this is how they stopped him, the past life, from growing and developing into this full occultist, right? Okay, and maybe, and this could have been him as well, y'all, as an orphan. Maybe they took his life early, okay? And he was the baby shaman, and the witch and warlock took him out, okay? So, but I don't know. But there are many scenarios out here, but I do believe that there is some valid truth out here, okay? Absolute truth, okay? And maybe I didn't read everything correctly, but there is some truth out here. Okay, and I'm getting the crossroads here. Okay, he's at the crossroads in this life. And I feel like he chose the decision to move forward. Past all difficulty. To move forward with his life purpose. And that was his clever way of being able to do it. And not being stopped by these people. By maybe not having a child. Okay. If this wasn't him as a child, it was his child. Crossroads. A signpost appears in the middle of 5 well-worn paths. Crossroads are auspicious locations with their attraction to potentials. Many cultures have tons of folklore about standing in the middle of the crossroads and what it may mean to one's life. Keywords, choices, many directions, scattered, fate, whimsy, ways, openness, adventure, options, multiple opportunities. A good guess, hesitation, a way forward, neutral, maybe. Queen of Diamonds, traditional meaning includes an enjoyable company presence, honest and trustworthy, receptive to ideas, hospitality, okay? I feel like he's following his path for this life, okay? He made that decision to teach occult knowledge, okay? As well as just to maintain the knowledge, okay? He may have taken it further by teaching it. Maybe it wasn't for him to, it was for him to teach, okay? Okay, but I feel like he took it above and beyond based on the life he had last life, okay? And I think that this fox speaks about him as well. His clever approach to making this interesting to the people that he was sent here to teach, right? As well as his clever approach of avoiding these traps that they placed on him in the past life, okay? And it doesn't mean he doesn't have issues this life, right? But I feel like he's done his job and he is doing his job, okay? All right, divine outcome. What is the outcome for the past life? What was it? Y'all, 11 and 44, and we had the angel here, okay? I'm getting like he's to work closely, right, with the angels, y'all. And that's why that decree came down. Maybe he's here to give a decree in this lifetime as well. To assist with this decree, y'all. This is something major. 1144, I see this number all the time, okay? It's a very powerful number. Master teacher, this is an earth angel. That's what I'm getting with these two numbers, okay? A highly ranked earth angel. If there is a thing, which I believe there is, okay? I just said it. All right, collective. All right. Divine outcome, past life. Y'all, what the hell? Walsh Bay, Sydney, Australia. Y'all, with this card, this other clone, Kanye Shore, there's something with the blood, okay? Okay, and I'm getting something about dialysis, okay? And this was a past life ending. Something to do with the blood And I said that based on another card that I wrote, okay? And for that card to come out with this card, there's something, okay? Archangel Michael, show me a name. Let me see if I got this right. Show me a name of a person associated with this reading. Something about Australia, y'all. Frank. Okay, we got a name. All right. I'm getting like there's something to do with the blood and dialysis, okay? So maybe this was a way, maybe this was a way that he may have lost his life in a past life. Ancestral armor. Maybe that's the angelic protection too. Okay, but this is something about the way his life ended, okay? Why is Frank here? Maybe his name was Frank in the past life, okay? I don't know. Hiding criminal ties, okay? Somebody's connected to Australia, okay? And I wrote this card based on a reading I did, a previous reading, right? Where some names came out and some titles, okay? And And I said, well, let me put these separate cards here because I did research. I'm like, wow, this does line up, okay? Based on what happened in the reading. And I said, let me make some additional cards and see if this is what I'm thinking, y'all. And it looks like it very well may be. Okay, there's something like with those past readings, something with dialysis, y'all, okay? What were these criminal ties that were being hid in the past life? Because they're looking for these healing, these star seeds, okay? These earth angels, these healers, these priests and priestesses. They they were calling all goddesses to duty, okay? There's something, they've been trying to stop our connection to the occult for a long time. Epiphany, y'all, something, maybe they realized, maybe he found his twin flame in a past life. And they destroyed it. Maybe the woman in his life was tied, betrayed him. Or vice versa. Let me get this bottom card. Tom, y'all, it's another name. I'm getting a lot of betrayal, okay? And I'm sure this has been this way in this life, where people, claim to support him, but in the same field or, as him, but really behind the scenes we're doing horrible things, to hurt him and destroy his life, okay? But they can never do that, okay? The man's done too much good for that to happen, right? But I do feel like that there were a lot of snakes around him in the past life as well as this life, possibly, okay? Archangel Michael, show me this epiphany and we're going to get out of here, y'all. Maybe they had epiphany of this person, of Bobby Hemmitt's protection, the level of it. And like I said, maybe he was a woman in the past life, okay? Like me, I think I was a man in the past life, okay? Okay, show me epiphany. What is this epiphany? Okay, we can get out of here. Nashville, Tennessee, y'all. Take the next step. These are places involved. I don't know what they were called back then, right? Maybe they were in the past life, Nashville, Tennessee, right? I'm sure probably could have been, because it wouldn't have been that far removed. But it depends on, when you pass over, you don't necessarily come right back. Most people, I don't think, do, okay? There's like a wait time, okay? Bottom of the deck. All right, y'all, maybe there was some sort of natural eruptions and earthquakes, okay? I'm not sure. But I do know that this aligns up here, definitely for his spiritual advice for this life, okay? All right, Archangel Michael, any final messages for this reading? Finding a new way to bring balance to a situation. I feel like this speaks to whatever this invention was, that he or somebody was an inventor. Anubis said, F you in the reverse, because he wouldn't talk to Bobby Hemmitt like that. Maybe Bobby Hemmitt is telling these other people that. And maybe Anubis is saying that to all these other names out here that I feel like were foes in his past life. Okay? Bottom of the deck. Doubt is a part of the creative process. Okay? So maybe this has something to do with that invention. Okay? We got the Nomo here. So that speaks to like a very ancient, primordial spirits, right? And we know Bobby Hemmitt's connected, right? To Nomo and the Sirius and all that, right? Beautiful. Let me see something. Nomo, you got something to say for Bobby Hemmitt? You got something to say to him? All right, let's see, people. Soul ascension, okay? And maybe in isolation, it fell out there in isolation. Wow. Yeah, that's like a blueprint for soul ascension, y'all. There's got to be a level of isolation, okay? And it fell out there, and doubt is a part of the creative process. So maybe this was a part of his past life. He doubted himself, right? And that blocked him from being able to fully live out his mission. But this lifetime, he doesn't have that problem. He don't doubt himself, okay? Bobby Hemmitt will say what he need to say when he need to say it, okay? Thank you, Nomo. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Nomo, do you have anything else to say regarding the soul ascension before we get out of here? Please. If you do, if not, that's fine. Oh, reptilians. Maybe these were the people after him. Okay? And maybe he's a part of this Nomo bloodline. Yeah, something about these reptilians. They were the ones trying to stop his soul ascension. Y'all. Okay, Bobby Hemmitt, you see that? He said, the Nomo said, do not engage with these reptilians, okay? Or maybe they're telling them, the reptilians, do not engage. Do not fuck with our brother, Bobby Hemmitt, okay? Anymore. Don't do another thing against him. No more magic, no more ill intentions, no more projections, okay? Because you're going to have some problems if you do. Okay? Bobby Hemmitt, if you need to put out a good cry, do that, please. They're going to respond anyway, okay? But they're coming for these reptilians. They letting you know. They letting them know, okay? I do not cry often. Heaven responds when I do. Okay, that's Bobby Hemmitt. Okay, heaven's responding to your tears. So if you got something you need to cry about, go ahead and cry, Bobby Hemmitt. This might be a part of the reason why these volcanoes are erupting, okay? Mystery card, one and only. Wow, beautiful. We adore you, brother Bobby Hemmitt. Thank you so much for your life's work, okay? And not giving up and not being afraid to speak truth to power. Thank you so much. We could never replace you. Ashe. If you like the video, like the video.